I'm glad that South Africa has been one of the uh, nations to been 100% vocal against what the Israeli government has been doing. Like they're nonstop against the Israeli government committing genocide, and they have been doing everything that they can to charge the Israeli government with genocide and war crimes and stuff. And then you have like Turkey and Egypt supporting South Africa and their uh, case against the Israeli government. And like the Israeli government, they can continue to lie and hide behind the United States against their crimes, but there is very little that they can truly do to change the minds of the international community that they're not committing war crimes when even their allies are going against them and saying, yeah, the Israeli government is committing war crimes and human rights abuses, that they're uh, participating in genocide, and that the Israeli government is committing genocide.
Genocide has continued apace and has just reached a new and horrific stage.
More accusations from South Africa to the International Court of Justice, this time more urgent, with even more at stake. An appeal to stop Israel's military offensive in Rafah and potentially save lives from a genocide happening before the world's eyes.
The key point,
Though what's truly sad is that the ICJ can't do more to actually stop the Israeli government from committing genocide. They have to spend like months and months like deliberating a BS case when it's obvious what is going on, when the ICJ should be able to do more to stop nations from committing genocide. This is one of the creations of the ICJ, the ICC, and like the UN to be able to stop these kinds of atrocities from happening. But they have a bunch of like red tape and stuff that prevents them from like actually being able to do anything whatsoever.
today is that Israel's declared aim of wiping Gaza from the map is about to be realized. Further, evidence of appalling crimes and atrocities is literally being destroyed and bulldozed, in effect wiping the slate clean for those who've committed these crimes and making a mockery of justice.
Yeah, honestly, the Israeli government is making a mockery of justice by like pretending to be the victims here, pretending that they're doing nothing wrong. They claim that everything that they're doing is justified, that they're always following international law, even when it's obvious that they're breaking international law. And anytime anybody criticizes the Israeli government for their war crimes, those people are considered anti-Semitic for criticizing the Israeli government for murdering innocent people.
For some, it's already too late. These women in Rafah were mourning loved ones killed in an Israeli airstrike. A key element of South Africa's arguments to the ICJ is that Palestinians were told by Israel to flee here from elsewhere in the enclave. Now they still find themselves in the crosshairs.
Yeah, that's the thing that the Israeli government does. They tell people to leave one area that they will start bombing, to go to a different area where they're told is supposed to be safe, and then the Israeli government then bombs the place that is supposed to be safe for people to flee to. That is a war crime, and if it's not, it should be a war crime. It is evil for a government to tell a group of people to move to a place that is supposed to be safe just to bomb that location. And it doesn't matter what justification that government is making, the fact that they're murdering innocent people is a war crime and they should be punished for it. But because it's the Israeli government, you have, nations like the United States defending them over their war crimes, being, they're participating in these war crimes by defending a government committing war crimes, and you still have the United States like openly admitting that the Israeli government is committing war crimes and still defending the Israeli government even though they're committing war crimes.
There's no safe place, not in Rafah, not in Han Yunus. They slaughtered Jabalia, they slaughtered Al Nusayrat, and they slaughtered Rafah. Safety is only with God. May God have mercy on us.
Yeah, what are these people supposed to do when there is no safe place to go and hide and to get away from the warfare that they don't want to be a part of, yet the Israeli government will still murder these people no matter what they do. I mean, these people could be waving white flags, being on their hands and knees, begging to not be murdered, and the Israeli government will still murder them, claiming they are terrorists. The Israeli government is a truly evil government at the moment.
ICJ has been asked to rule on provisional measures that would compel Israel to halt military activity in Gaza, as well as allowing international organisations, investigators and journalists into the enclave. South Africa has further asked the court to enforce previous decisions it believes Israel has ignored. That includes allowing in more vital aid to Gaza, which the UN and others say still has thousands on the brink of famine.
This, in my opinion, shows that the ICJ and like the ICC and the UN should be able to have a military force that is allowed to go in and stop the offenses by the people committing war crimes and stuff. If there is no like authority figure that can go in and like stop a nation from committing atrocities, what's the point in these authority figures that can rule against a nation but have no actual power to stop these people? It is like a nation being able to create laws against various crimes, but not being able to have a police force in order to stop those crimes. You can make any law, whatever that you want, but if you have no true power to stop those people, then you're just making pointless laws.
Israel has denied the allegations of genocide and said it's complied with previous court orders. Considering the arguments in this case isn't something that the ICJ has time to dwell on, where previously it has taken weeks to rule on provisional measures, every day that it delays now could cost lives. Even if it ultimately does decide to call for a halt to Israel's military operations, the bigger question may be, will Israel listen?
No, the Israeli government won't listen, because they know there's not going to be anybody that's going to be able to stop them. This is why, like, the UN and such should be able to send in a military force or an authority force that is able to stop the Israeli government from committing war crimes. Uh, the ICC or the ICJ should be able to send in a an authority figure above all other nations to be able to arrest the people that are commanding all these crimes to be taken place and arrest them. Again, it's like having a nation that makes laws but don't have a police force to enforce these laws. If you can't enforce the laws, then these laws mean nothing.
Joel Flynn, TRT World.